I always have a weird feeling about found footage movies because there's only 67 edits in this movie. Because I always try to figure out, like, who's the creep that found this footage and said, hey, I'm sorry your daughter got raped to death, but if I recut it, I really think there's a tremendous movie in it. I try to address that by having the actors turning on the cameras and off, and the camera only goes on and off when someone's behind it.
The actors, if I'm not mistaken, aside from the two leads, everybody else in the film are actual citizens on Willow Creek.
Yeah, I would say about 80% are real people just playing themselves.
They thought they were being interviewed for a documentary?
Well, I didn't say, oh, so we're making a suspense Bigfoot movie, can you pretend to act like yourself? Because then it would have been a whole town of people going, paging Mr. Herman, Mr. Pee Wee Herman. You know, I thought they would become all stiff and awkward, so I tried to keep it to on a need-to-know basis of what was, of what who and what were informed on the Bigfoot movie. There was a Bigfoot movie. Well, the guy in it, Bryce, was in a movie I did called Sleeping Dogs Lie, and then it became, that's about the box office it did. He was also, he's the douchey guy in God Bless America that shares a cubicle with the guy who goes nuts. But, and Alexi was the co-star in World's Greatest Dad with Robin Williams. So I have a friendship with him. So it's an 11-hour drive to where we filmed the movie. So, I wrote an outline, but then on the way up, we got to talk about what we thought would happen in the movie and who these people were and all that. So we got to we rehearsed in the car on the way up, basically. I'm very flattered. Willow Creek recently asked me to be in their Bigfoot parade first weekend of September. So if you're there, I'll be being pulled by a tractor with a dude in a Bigfoot suit waving. So
how many floats would a Bigfoot parade consist of?
Oh, I've seen the footage. There's well over 3 floats there. It's super impressive, yeah. Oh, sure. Hi, any questions? Hi.
How and why?
The sound effects, how and why. You mean during the take, the long take? That takes 19 minutes long. Thanks. And actually, all of them are just live. It's funny. You hear the river. We're actually where the Patterson-Gimlin footage was shot, which is once you get to Bluff Creek, you drive down a dirt road for it's about 17 miles. It took 2.5 hours. Got a flat tire too. We saw 2 mountain lions, and so all the noises that you hear outside the tent are being done live, And Bryce, the lead actor, Jim, he's like, because he started crying during the first take, because he's a baby. No, he's like, hey man, we could really do this scene in the hotel parking lot, right? I don't know why we're out in the woods. I was like, well, just do what you're doing, it's good. He's like, okay. And so those are all, a spoiler alert, so I may or may not. But for those of the people who are in the Sasquatch community, all the noises are Sasquatch noises. The calls and the vocalizations and the wood knocking and all that stuff.
Cool. By the way, before we go to more questions, you actually do have some artifacts of your own at home, don't you?
Yeah, I have. I have actually a lot of. I actually have a footprint from the cast, from the original, the OG Patterson-Gimlin footage, and I am. My home. is turning into a Bigfoot museum because everybody gives me stuff because they know I made this movie. And I need to make a movie about pizza because I really love pizza. You know, so I have a house of pizza. Hi. Yeah, right there. Hi.
What are river people?
Oh, there really are river people, and they're a lot like Grateful Dead fans or fish enthusiasts, or I don't know who else I could compare it to. But they in the summer they just live on the river, and they're kind of sketchy. I know river people sounds like I don't know, like hillbillies or something, but there's a lot of strange and nefarious people in those woods. It wasn't really too much of, because outside of Bigfoot, the actual biggest moneymaker is marijuana. So if you go in the wrong place, you could get shot. It's kind of interesting. There's cartels now up in this town of 1,400 people. Hi, what did I do?
Hi, yeah. Are you a fan of Boggy Creek?
Of what?
Boggy Creek?
Oh, yeah, Boggy Creek, yeah, of course. That's, for any of you who played with Furbies, Boggy Creek is the movie that came out in the early 70s, and it's similar in the fact that you don't see Bigfoot too much in that movie, you just see an arm go through it, so it's kind of spoiler alert. But yeah, I am a fan of that. That and there was a Life magazine article with the Bigfoot footage of stills from the Patterson Gimlin footage. I think that probably had to. Actually, for me, the movie that influences a lot, believe it or not, is Paper Heart. Charlie D. Michael Cera rom-com, and Grizzly Man. That had a lot to do with how I made this movie. Any other questions? Wait a minute.
Yeah. So at the end of the movie, we see, like, I assume it's not a river person female, but like a Bigfoot female. And you decided, I guess, not to show the Bigfoot, which I thought, like, so, you know, in the Patterson Gimlin footage, you kind of see the Bigfoot. So why did you decide to end the movie like that, you know, without seeing any of the creature?
Well, because I think, like, showing, I think I'd prefer to leave it up to all of our imaginations. You know, I don't, I think to come up with a horrific Bigfoot thing would still be silly for me. That's just me. And I know what that woman is supposed to be in the end of the movie. I'm not going to tell you, but there's a couple of clues that aren't very subtle. But it was interesting. We were trying to cast that woman, and we had a really hard time to find someone who was willing to be nude in the middle of the woods with bears and mountain lions. And when we shot that scene, we put cocoa, chocolate, and and cinnamon, and you know, these are the things we bought in the store that we thought weren't so gross to have smeared all over you. And but then I realized we basically made a bear donut, like a bear, you know, a bear cruller. And then I took her glasses away, so she's completely blind, covered in cinnamon and chocolate sauce. And we get done with the scene, and she is I love this. And she was like, "Well, I can cross that off my bucket list." And I'm like, "Wow, what is your bucket list, man?" You know? So that was pretty funny, I thought. And then we actually camped out where the site is, and we had Bigfoot experts with us. And I like telling this story. After we saw the mountain lion, and after we saw we saw like a mountain lion. One of the kids working on the movie, he says, "Hey, what's the difference between a bobcat and a mountain lion?" I go, "Well, bobcats are stocky and they have a little tail, and mountain lion's really tall and has a long tail." And he goes, "Yeah, I just saw a mountain lion." I was like, "Well, where?" He's like, "It's about 45 feet over questions? Maybe that'll help you remind. Hi.
Can you talk a little bit about the production? Was there kind of a script, or you just said, talk about this, do this?
Yeah, there was an outline, and some of the scenes were written, but then there was a lot of, talking about what we thought should happen in the scene. And then there's times where basically, like in the car scenes, I'm laying in the trunk, and I'm like, that was good, ask him again, and Greg's going, I'm trying not to drive over the cliff. And I'm like, wham, 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 let's go, So that's how we did it. We would rehearse it loosely. I never really told them when and what things were going to happen next. Like, I didn't know that rocks were going to get thrown at them and things like that and stuff like that. Again, that's live sounds. Like you hear those boulders rolling down. It's just me kicking boulders down on my actors. So, hey, if anyone wants to work with me as a director, I'm always casting. Any other questions?
Two questions. I understand why you wouldn't want to create a fake Bigfoot in the film. Leave it up to us. But did you think about using the original footage, having that in the film? Or do you think everybody's seen it?
The Patterson Gimlin footage, Roger Patterson's widow is still alive, and that's very expensive footage, by the way. So I thought we talked about it enough, and I think everybody knows what it is. It's a woman, by the way, if you look at it's been pointed out to me. I love the idea of the Sasquatch guys who are looking at it going, hey man, I think I see tits, A lot of people argue that it must be, it can't be a suit because it's 67, why would you be putting breasts in something? And I remember the story I was about to say, sorry, hang on a second. Ranger Robert Lieberman, actually the guy who was protecting us from mountain lions, after we filmed the scene, it's like 3:30 in the morning, and he goes, I'm a writer too. And I go, oh, really? What do you write? He goes, Twilight? I go, sure, of course, everybody knows Twilight. Well, I write Twilight kind of novels, set in the Sasquatch community. They're coming-of-age stories for tweens in a Bigfoot environment. All right. What's the name of your novels? Well, first one is Yeti or Not. By the way, it's available on eBay. If you want to look it up, you can get autographed copies of Yeti or Not.
Have you been auctioned yet?
Yeti or Not? We were waiting for Kristen Stewart. When she goes, the other thing that's funny is the Bigfoot guys that were with us at where we shot it, they were going the same night, about 3:30 in the morning. We had Alexi, who I thought did a great job, the actress in there, and then Amy, my friend who's producing. One of the guys goes, we never had women here before. And I go, ooh, that's usually when the raping starts. And they didn't laugh. They got really uncomfortable. I go, really? I thought you guys had tons of pussy up here.
Talk about the wonderful poster for this movie.
Oh, the wonderful poster. Yeah, the guy, if you've seen the poster, Alex Party is a great artist, and he did it, and I was really happy. Now, one of the nice things is he's become my friend. He's really cool, and I really love the poster. I thought he did a great job, and I really didn't give him any notes. I just gave him a copy of the movie, and then he thought that's what it would look like. Anyone else?
How long were you in the bush, and how many tries did you have to do for that long take?
Well, we were out in the woods for about 2.5 days. We slept over, and then in tents. I love the budget of this movie. After we wrapped that scene, we climbed in, and half of us, and then that take was done 3 times. The first take, they both was out in the woods stomping around, and I go, what if I'm just gonna go, ah! That's good, that's carcass would be dragged through the tent, and we did 3, and then that's the middle one, and the third one was actually, they were kind of, in a weird way, resigned to their fate, like they weren't arguing anymore, they were like, come on, kill me, Bigfoot. So that's the take we use, yeah. Hi.
Did the actors shoot the entire movie, or was it sometimes you?
Yeah, they shot most of it. Occasionally it's me, but not really. Very rarely. It was. Yeah, it was. They were operating it, because that just worked for us. So it gave us a license for them to turn it on and off, basically. But yeah, so they're operating. It's funny, they each have 2 different styles. Like Bryce is actually a little bit better of a cinematographer, so he does like zooms, and it's funny. And then Alexis is just more stuff. So I think it's funny because it's like Bryce actually his camera work looks a little too professional.
How many people were you? Like your crew?
Crew, like all of us, like out in the woods.
Yeah.
The people making the movie, there was 7 of us, but when we had the Bigfoot people with us, we had like another 4 people. The Bigfoot people with us. It actually was my favorite movie. This is the 6th movie I've made, and it was actually my favorite. I really laughed and had a really good time, and found out that I'm okay with the woods a little bit. Hi. Yeah.
Specifically with the ending, but the whole movie in general, like the ending, I wasn't sure whether to be scared or to laugh. Like, I was laughing my ass off at the same time. I was really nervous. So, what were you going for? The whole movie in general, were you leaning more towards comedy or horror, or just trying to get a good balance of the 2?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really I'm not trying to be flippant, but I really don't concern myself when I'm making stuff with the laughs and stuff. I don't know. I mean, that stuff just comes out when I'm making a movie, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's probably why I'm not going to be doing any AIDS baby docs in the future. Really? Too dark for Fantasia? Really? Okay. I'll maybe just cram it right now. All right, well, we could wrap it up, I guess.
Maybe one last question?
One last question. All right.
So did you become a believer, or are you a believer?
That's a weird question because I like to think I'm open to the possibility, but at the same time, I'm an atheist, and so it really confuses people, and they go, how can you be an atheist and think that there's Bigfoot? I go, well, I've met people who've seen Bigfoot. By the way, I don't know what the goof up with the sound is. I apologize, but I hope you still enjoyed the movie. I'm 51 years old, and so that means I'm not on social media. Because at my age, that means you're a pedophile. So if you could, Twitter face it and do all the stuff you young